Hello and welcome. Let me know if you're watching the replay. Usually, if you're on this early, it does mean that you're on the replay. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a frog in my throat today. So I will probably be using my tea a lot. And I'm also working from my desk area instead of where I normally record. So welcome and thank you for joining me. Let me know you're here. Say hello in the comments. I love the interaction. It does get it gets lonely on this side of the camera, so I do enjoy when you guys join me for the interaction. And hopefully, I just realized I forgot to make sure that I have the right microphone set up. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Good morning, Colleen. It's good to see you. Good morning. And just so you guys know, if you don't give StreamYard permission, I can't see who you are. So I'm just going to show you guys an example. This is what it looks like to me. So if you said good morning and that is you, I say good morning back. But if you give StreamYard permission, it'll show me who you are. But that's otherwise what it looks like to me. So I hope everybody has taken some good care of themselves this weekend. I've recorded a bunch of new podcast episodes, and self-care is something that I'm really going to be talking to you guys again a lot about, because as much as I preach it, I started to almost check off some boxes and not really participating in self-care like I should. I was going through routine, right? Just kind of, it was almost like, okay, self-care check, but it wasn't really deep self-care. So now that I've done another pivot and decided to start really focusing again on real self-care, it's amazing how much more efficient I am, how much more I'm getting done effectively. So if something, make sure you listen to the podcast. I have a bunch of new episodes out. I've just been on a recording frenzy lately, and there's just so much happening right now in the world and going on in early childhood education that I just feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much I need to get out to the ECE community. And just to give you guys an overarching view of this, as a early childhood educational professional, um, I'm going to bring you guys all the information that I think is really relevant that we need to know in order to survive our industry, right? And not just survive, but thrive. We should be thriving. We don't need to just survive. And I'm bringing you the information to the general public because this is my passion. So I know a lot of people asking, like, you give away so much of your content. Well, I want to see ECE thrive. But for my members, if you're one of my members and you work with me, that's when I really lead you through and teach you. And we dive in deep. Like tomorrow, for example, we'll have coffee with Evelyn. So anyone of my members, we will literally jump on Zoom, and I have tea. I don't drink coffee, but it's coffee with Evelyn. And we just spend an hour working through our day-to-day issues. And I am seeing a lot of issues lately. Things are really hopping right now. So, the biggest concern I want to talk to you guys about is regarding an email I got. And I did a live on Friday, which I haven't done an impromptu live in a long time. But this email I received really just resonated with me. And there was a couple other things, though, that I have to say that whole Friday morning, I got so many different messages that as a God girl, I had to like really open my heart and my mind to what God was trying to show me that day, because it was just coming from everywhere. And it just really resonated with me that, okay, I have a message I've got to come up and really talk to you guys about. And it's something I've been talking to you about. I've been talking about this need for an ECE revolution. I am so passionate about this. And scared for our industry that I'm actually trademarking the term ECE revolution. We're going through the process to get it trademarked because I am so passionate right now. Good morning, Kayla. So I want you to really lean into this right now because tough times are coming. It is coming. If you guys got the email from the NAEYC on Friday that just came out. I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to share it on my screen, but I am going to read what it says to you here. It says the Senate unveiled a reconciliation bill on Wednesday that does not include a single dollar for childcare, zero funding for early childhood educators, zero funding for struggling early learning programs, zero funding for parents desperately seeking affordable quality care. So the email goes into the 5 steps that we can do together, right? Which is advocate, advocate, advocate. It is time, once again. I have a couple different podcast episodes that I've recorded on advocating. I give you a blueprint for advocating. If you go through my old live videos, and maybe a member of my team can post the podcast episodes in the chat for you here, but I have videos I've recorded for you guys on advocating, right? If you go through the group, this is what I have been telling you guys now for about a year. This is exactly what I've been talking about. Our industry is at a point right now where we are um just we have the security that is false. We are stuck in a place of false security because there's a lot of money that is coming at us. And gosh, it's probably been about 2 years ago now. I've been saying this, that right now, well, we were in a time where we were the buzz industry, right? We were the popular thing for politicians and the powers that be to be talking about. We had our 15 minutes of fame. But what I've been saying now for 2 years is it's not going to last. So for those of you who took all this grant money, and I did too, right? This is exactly what I was talking about. It is going away. I get P&Ls from owners almost every week that are trying to get me to buy their centers. They think they have these centers right now that are worth $1 million, right? Or even $500,000, because right now their P&Ls and their numbers look pretty good because of grants they've gotten. But anybody who knows anything about business is that you can include that. Any kind of government money you're getting cannot be included in the health of your business unless it's subsidy payments. That's different because that is consistent. It stays. They're paying for tuition, right? That is normal income. But if you're basing the success of your center right now and you look at your bank account and it looks pretty good, right? They look pretty good right now. But I really want you to look at your balance sheet and your P&Ls and ask yourself, why? Why do I have this money? If it is because of the grant funding that you've received or any other kind of stipends, the CARES Act, the ARP, any of these other things that are not sustainable, I really want you to pull those out of your numbers and look at where your business is today, because that is the true indication of where you lie. If things continue the way they are, 80% of childcare centers in the United States will be out of business in the next 2 years. And that is according to the NAEYC. We cannot sustain as an industry. And it's time for you guys to take this very seriously. It's time to stop having this false sense of security, right? One of the biggest things that have scared me to death, and here in Nevada, I saw a news conference with our governor, and the governor brought this early childhood owner, a childcare center owner, on with him. And he's just, she was all, thank you, governor. And I'm so grateful for you for what you've done for us. And one of the things they gave us a lot of money. They really did. And we had a couple things we had to do for it. It was 20% of it had to go to parents and 20% of it had to go to staff, which is awesome and is achievable. And we did it, right? But what I heard this owner say, and what I'm hearing way too many owners saying, what she did was she cut her tuition rates by 20% and she raised her wages by 20%. I just, and I'm hearing this so often that it blows my mind. It just blows my mind. I mean, it's, you guys, this is just math 101. If you're increasing your liabilities but decreasing your revenue, what's going to happen? If you're decreasing how much money you're bringing into the center and increasing the amount of bills that you're paying, what is going to happen to you? This grant money is not going to last forever. And right now, we're going through it. We are no longer the buzz industry. The limelight is not on us. The 15 minutes of fame that we've had is over. So now what? Do you have a plan? Did you save any of that money to get you through the next few years? Are you still raising rates regardless of COVID? You should still raise rates. And actually, I'm raising rates even more aggressively because I understand that I can't survive if I don't, right? And here's the thing, if you have the grant money, right, you can still raise rates. And one of the things I did was I raised my rates, but then I also credited. So what I did was sent a letter out to my parents and said, it is my annual rate raise due to inflation, which all of we all see it, right? It's out there, it's bad. In order for us to sustain, we have to raise our rates by, and I put the dollar amount in the letter. But due to this grant that we have received, we are going to credit that raise for the next 3 months. So basically, I raised my rates by $15 a week, but I gave my parents a credit over a period of time. So my rates still went up, but I used that 20% that I have to give to the parents. I gave them a credit on that that's going to just cover. So I literally created a line item in my accounting software that does the charge and does the credit, right? So when I have to pull the reports, it's really, really easy. When I'm turning in to justify to the state what I've done, it's really easy. They see the charge, the credit, the charge, the credit. Now, at the end of this, my parents know, and we will be sending them monthly reminders that when this is over, their tuition has to go up. I can't keep sustaining if I don't. Look at the gas prices. Everything is more expensive, right? Everything. That means your bills have gone up. That means that you have to raise rates. You don't have a choice. And we cannot live in fear. That brings me to my next point. There's a lot of us, and I used to be in this mindset, but we live with the scarcity mindset. We live in fear all the time that there just isn't enough. There's not enough staff. So you allow bad staff members to hijack your center and run your programs, right? There's not enough children out there. So you allow parents to run you and not pay their bill or treat your teachers like crap, right? There's not enough they're not going to pay me if I raise my rates. So you stay with your rates from 4 years ago that are causing you to go bankrupt. You have to raise your rates. You have to stop thinking from a scarcity mindset. You have to know there is enough out there. There are enough employees. There are. I'm fully staffed. I'm actually overstaffed. Not having a hard time. And my biggest competition for staffing pays double what I pay, and they're always working. My center is the closest childcare center to the largest industrial park in the world. That's minimum, like lowest wages you're going to find out there are $20 an hour, right? And I live in Nevada where minimum wage is 12. So you guys can see that's a huge difference, right? So they pay more than I do. A lot of those warehouses pay $30 to $40 an hour. So some of these warehouses at $30 an hour are paying double what I pay my staff. But it's positioning, right? I am not afraid because I don't have a scarcity mindset. You really, what happens psychologically, and you can look at it this two ways. There's two different trains of thoughts out there, right? There's the whole buzz thing on manifesting what is coming around you that talk about, but there is science behind the manifestation. And from my background in neuropsychology, basically, what happens in your brain is when you start believing something, your actions prove it, right? Your subconscious mind, your conscious mind is saying, "Oh, there's not enough staff out there. Parents aren't going to pay me if I raise my rates. There's just not enough kids. So I know this parent hasn't paid me in 3 weeks, but I just got to let it go." Right. So what happens is your actions start making all of this come to fruition, right? You raise your rates and you write a letter and it's very apologetic, like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I know you guys are struggling." And you focus on all the things that you fear. So then what ends up happening is you're planting those thoughts in the heads of your parents. And then they're coming back saying, like, "How could you? You know we're struggling. You know we're this and that," right? So you are manifesting these things. You are manifesting the scarcity that you're stuck in your mind because of how you're showing up. Now, on the other hand, if you understand that there is abundance out there, there is still abundance. I don't care what the economy looks like, there is still abundance. And you come from a place of abundance. That is the message you're sending out to the world. And that is a message that's going to come back to you. Right. So think in terms of with this mentality of abundance. When I raised our rates, I just laid out there. As you know, prices of everything has gone up. My staff deserves higher wages. Therefore, we are raising rates. Period. That's it. I don't have to say anymore. They know. Does McDonald's tell you why they're raising the price of the Big Mac? Does your grocery store tell you why they're raising the price of milk? They don't. They just do it because they know they have to do it to survive. Everyone is raising prices right now. It's not going to be a surprise, but you also don't want to blindside your parents, right? So I do give them a little bit, but I don't tell them I feel sorry for them. I don't tell them like, "Oh, I know you're," I'm not going to acknowledge those things because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. We're struggling too as a business, right? If you don't do this, you will be struggling too. Yes, everything has gone up for them, but it's gone up for you too. And you have to be able to fill those gaps. Your profit margins should not change, right? It should not change. As prices go up and your expenses go up, so do your rates. That's the thing people don't understand when they're always advocating for, hiring minimum wage. Yes, it's awesome in a utopic world. Let's hire everybody's wages. But what happens when you do? Companies like us and small businesses, we can't afford not to fill the gap. So we have to raise our rates, right? So now childcare is more expensive. Companies like Walmart isn't going to lose the money. They're not going to. They can afford to, but they're not going to. So they're going to raise all their prices, right? And sometimes they do. I mean, they have to. If you guys think from a business perspective, if they don't, they wouldn't be in business, right? So many times in society we vilify people for raising prices when it's like that's how you survive. That's how you thrive. Do you want to raise? You want to raise because your cost of living has gone up, because you want a better lifestyle. So, yes, we need to raise our prices too, because our cost of living has gone up too. It's just common sense economics. Everything goes up, we have to raise rates, right? I have a plan for the next 2 years where I'm actually raising my rates in the next 2 years by about $50 a week. But I have no choice. It's where we are in our society. I basically have the projections of what my staff's wages are going to be, what inflation is looking like, all of the things, and that's where I need to be. So, of course, I'm not going to do that to my parents overnight. So, I'm going to gradually increase it over a 2-year period. They will be informed of this. They will know I'm easing them in, right? And if you guys think about it, most states right now they have raised minimum wage, right? How did they do it? When they raised minimum wage, they basically sent us a letter and said, in the next 2 years, this is where we are today. This is where you will be over a 2-year period, right? And they broke everything down for us, and they are doing it in 6-month increments so that we can prepare ahead of time. It's the same thing that we do for our parents. Yes, it's going to be shocking at first, right? They're going to see this and like, oh my gosh. So lay it out for them, explain to them the why behind it, right? So, one of the things I really want to add right now, too, is if you're going to survive the hard times that are coming, if you're going to survive this upcoming recession that we are going into, you really need to uplevel your thinking. You absolutely have to uplevel how you think. ECE industry standards are no longer going to get us through. When I started my childcare center in 2008, yes, I started in 2008 during like the height of the last recession. There were 5 childcare centers in my hometown here. Only 2 of us survived that recession. I'm sorry, the frog in my throat is coming back. Sorry about that, you guys. So, what I want to challenge and ask you is, are you ready? Are you ready to be the 20% that survives? Are you positioned? Do you have the mental fortitude? The mental fortitude it takes is the key right there. And the reason you can't raise your rates, the reason you cannot let go of that staff member that has hijacked your center's culture and who runs you instead of you running them, the reason that you live in a state of scarcity and you have these false um, securities is because of your mindset, is because of just what your brain is capable of. You have to up level if you're going to survive. You have to be at my childcare business summit. If there is one thing you invest in this year, it is going to be the childcare business summit. And this is exactly why. The times that we're going into, I knew they were coming. I've been telling you guys for a year. So the speakers that we've invited to the childcare business summit are exactly going to help you up level your mindset, your thinking, so that you can have the courage and the strength to make these hard decisions. You can have the reasoning skills. I get messages from you guys all the time saying, "Oh my gosh, the way you think is amazing. Oh my gosh." It really isn't, you guys. It really isn't. And you can think this way too. But you have to start surrounding yourself with different people. You have to start exposing yourself to something different. You have to completely change your mindset, right? So the people my two keynote speakers for the Child Care Business Summit are not ECE people. These are not people you've seen or heard before. And I did that very deliberately because our industry needs to be shaken up. I know a lot of ECE keynote speakers. There are some amazing, wonderful ones I personally love, but there's also some who hasn't stepped foot in a child care center in years. They have no real world experience anymore. Yet they're like the rock stars of this industry, even though they really don't know us anymore. But we do need a revolution. It is so important for us to do something new right now. And that is where it's going to start. That is why I'm bringing Ryan Dowdy and Tony Childs to the Child Care Business Summit, because they are different thought leaders. They will help you to see something completely different, help you just completely change how you see everything. The problem is in early childhood education is we're in this fishbowl, right? And when you have a fishbowl thinking, you're in your fishbowl, you can't see what's outside your fishbowl. You can only see what's inside it. And until, if you think of the movie Finding Nemo, you get out of that fish tank and you see the big world around you. You have no idea the other opportunities and thought processes and the other ways of doing things that are out there until you get out of your fishbowl. Right. And if you think of the movie Finding Nemo, when he was in the fish tank, some of those fish, that was their entire world. That's all they ever saw. They didn't know there was anything beyond the fish tank, right? But Nemo knew because he came from the ocean. So bringing these thought leaders that are not ECE people to help us to start thinking differently. We have got to get out of our fishbowl, right? We need to bring those Nemos in. We need to bring those people in to our fishbowl so that we can start seeing a bigger picture, so that we can start understanding that there is something more out there. There is something better. And it's time for us to pivot. We have to if we're going to survive this. That being said, we also need to advocate for ECE. So in the comment or the description of this video, I put links to how to get a hold of your legislature, your senators, everybody you can. Start getting a hold of them. If you didn't get the email from the NEYC, I believe, let me look at it really quick once again for you guys. I believe they did construct an email that we can send it. We have got to make sure that we are seen. And you can even just say something as simple as, hey, you guys forgot about us. Early childhood education cannot survive without you, right? And you guys, we can. And we are going to do something different, which is why if you're one of my members, I'm really, really, really leaning in on multiple streams of income. Every company everywhere you look, 5 streams of income is what you need. One stream of income is not sustainable, right? But in childcare, we have one stream of income. So one of the things that we've been really leading into with Childcare Business Professionals Mastermind group is the fact that we need 5 streams of income. And how can you bring those 5 streams of income into your childcare center, right? To be more sustainable, not just relying on tuition, but having other ways to generate income so that you can pay your staff more, so that you can survive what is coming. So if you guys have any questions, if you really want to start getting into this work, let us know. Let my team members know. I have team members in the comments here. Just tell them that you want in. If you're ready to really level up, make sure you guys get your tickets to the Child Care Business Summit. Make sure you get it. I cannot tell you how vital it is for you guys right now. You've got to get to the Child Care Business Summit. It is the one thing you cannot miss this year if you want to be ready for what is coming. So I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and we hope that you guys will reach out to us. We really want to help. That is what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure that more leaders and childcare centers can survive. The children need us. They need us. And you owe it to yourself and your staff. Your center is worth it, and you are worth it. So make sure you reach out to us. Have a great week, everybody.